I'm always skeptical when talented actors who have a lot of potential or have proven themselves with compelling stories get into a rut of featuring in mediocre commercial projects. I mean, they have their reasons, ranging from wanting to be relevant due to more exposure in the commercial space and, of course, monetary benefits that come with just being busy. But what happens in the process is that it dilutes the impact that you have had for several years being representative of good cinema, irrespective of the lure that exists around you. This is the problem that existed in Abhishek Bachchan's filmography when, after huge success in the mid 2000s, he started featuring in these over the top commercial projects that made him get into a slump of sorts with respect to the quality of scripts that came his way, having to start from scratch in recent years to reinvent himself, something I would never dare to wish for actors like Rajkummar Rao, Vikrant Massey, or even Kriti Sanon. Let me know if you feel the same way in the comments below. I don't blame the actors, but it is a double-edged sword. When I saw the trailer of Hamare though, I feared that talented actors like Rajkumar and Kriti and legends like Paresh Rawal and Ratna Pathak Shah might get wasted in a film that just looks like Chauda Fere done with more reputed actors. Sadly, my assessment and assumptions of the quality of the film came true. The film focuses on Dhruv Shikhar, played by Rajkummar Rao, who is a VR app developer and falls in love with Anya, a social media influencer in Chandigarh. When both are head over heels for one another and decide to marry, the orphan Dhruv feels compelled to formulate and pose a perfect family image for Anya, as he believes that it will be a make or break situation. This is when he ropes in Purushottam and Deepthi, played by Paresh Rawal and Ratna Pathak Shah respectively, who have quite a history that gets unearthed as the story develops. How the film follows the characters from the courting process to the event, which is the wedding, leading to a comedy of errors and a journey of lies with no possible return, only for the bubble to burst in its conclusion, is basically the storyline of this movie. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch it on Disney Plus Hotstar or not. The good. The music. I see a lot of people criticizing the film unabashedly. While it is somewhat justified for the mediocrity and the tropes that it perpetuates, it is also important that in the process of doing reviews or any commentary for a film, you look at the positive takeaways as well, because the movies and the art of making them represent more than just the actors and the storyline. I don't know why, but nobody is talking about the beautiful music of this film composed by the duo of Sachin Jigar. Kamli, sung by Jubin Nautiyal and Divya Kumar, perfectly encapsulates the courting process of Dhruv and Anya getting familiar with one another. Tropes aside, the voice of Nautiyal is just magical. Moje Karam by Sachet Parampara, as the pretense family sets up their home, has a really uplifting mood. One of the standout moments from Chauda Fere was when Rekha Bhardwaj's song Ram Sita played in the storyline. Similarly, she lends her angelic voice to the highlight song of this film titled Beda Sajaya and accompanied by Varun Jain. The music of this film deserves to be celebrated and streamed. Theme and intention. I applaud the intention behind the film, even though it is extremely far off from communicating exactly the same effectively. Its main purpose is to talk about what a family represents. For an individual that never experienced the warm dynamic and structure of what is perceived as a family, what can they term as their own? Is the restrictive definition of blood relationships is where we draw the line, or could you choose them for the noble and selfless acts that they do, devoid of stipulations or judgment from others? The coincidental paths of Dhruv crossing with Purushottam and Deepthi unearths these same feelings of individuals wanting to simply connect and call someone as their own. This was the intention of the creators, but I have to say that its execution is rather lackluster, and these heartfelt moments are actually very few and far between. The legends and moments of improv. While the prime focus of the film are Rajkumar and Kriti, which I feel is somewhat of a missed opportunity, something that I will elaborate on later, but Paresh Rawal and Ratna Pathak Shah are the stars of the show. Paresh Rawal plays an unpredictable drunk that simply longs for Deepthi, and the arc of his character going from grumpy and reserved to soft and self-aware is great to see. As he watches Amar Prem and has a vulnerable moment with Rajkumar, it's one of the beautiful scenes from this film that will really stay with you. The sequences that he shares with Ratna Pathak Shah, especially moments of reflecting on what ifs, stand out. It is Ratna Pathak Shah, however, who I believe is the star of the show. It's criminal on how little we get to see of her, but she puts forth such a beautiful performance in this movie. Her reluctance that transitions to become insistent and indulgent as a mother is great to see. A moment that she shares with Rajkumar in coming clean about her current situation made me very emotional and probably was the highlight moment of this film. This scene is particularly when she visits Rajkumar's character in his office. There are many sequences where characters fill the empty spaces also between dialogues, and actors like Rajkumar and Apar Shakti are masters at that. The chemistry Raj and Kriti share is cute and surface level, but it is the premise and the turn of events in the second half of this movie that really lead to its downfall. The underwhelming aspects, tropes and abrupt dramatic moments. The film is not inventive or unique in any way. This film is not going to be remembered as a hilarious film, and the problem is because of its jumbled up writing, erratic screenplay, and the tropes that it insists on the viewers to accept as quirky and fun. See, if your bar is like, at least it's better than 14 Fere, then I'm sorry, I don't want to keep the bar of acceptance so low with a film that has talents like these 4 people. So Jamie, what are the tropes in this film that really annoyed you as a viewer? Well, number 1, Kriti plays a social media influencer, and other than a generic Instagram video that we get to see, she barely works throughout the film. We see several scenes of Rajkumar going through work stress and innovating, but Kriti is more or less unemployed. It also sets the notion in my mind that according to film creators, if a woman is a social media influencer in a movie, she has to be an airhead. She has to be naive and childish, and this trope itself is getting tiring, not to further say that it's ignorant as well. The creators also have their generic let's go to the temple moment, reminiscent of Sher Shah, but it actually had a point in that film, rather than this just being placed as a montage. Oh, how can I forget? Apar Shakti Khurana is becoming a trope in itself. He's in best friend mode again, and well, he is Apar Shakti Khurana. He has great chemistry with Rajkumar, but my god, will he lose track of his friend circle if he plays the best friend to another actor again? I just remembered the Baskar Bhai meme when I saw Apar Shakti playing the best friend in this film. The trope of the girl being impressed because a guy does community service randomly is also getting tiring. We saw it in Tufan, and this whole notion of, oh my god, he cares about underprivileged kids, wow, marry me, is also done in an exhausting amount. Horrible and erratic climax. Extending on the concept of this film becoming cliche and harping on the tropes of a Hindi film with the comedy of errors, just like 14 Fere, there is an audition process for the prospective mother and father for Dhruv's character. And this leads to the introduction of probably the most irritating and unconvincing characters that actually ruin the quality of this film. You have Sa Anand Verma, who plays a pan-eating over-the-top Shadi Ram, who is a wheeler dealer in the wedding business and supplies actors to play the part of family members. His presence in the final 25 minutes with Anya's overexcited and mischievous cousin play a key role in the big reveal of the film in the end, and it's so sloppily done that it will actually completely take you away from the premise. From everything including being thrown in a fountain and literal balls being busted, I started scratching my head in disbelief of what was going on in this movie. Even Rajkumar seemed to have given up by the last 30 minutes of this film, giving probably, wait for it, one of his weakest performances that I have seen of his career. And that is something huge to say. There is this emotional monologue that he has, and I was pretty shocked on how unconvincing it was. I guess it is a combination of both the poor writing or whether the actor was even convinced. Also, the characters make it so obvious that they are posing as actors rather than real family members that I kept on wondering on how the characters did not catch on the lies sooner. Missed opportunity. I genuinely believe that the most interesting part of the film was something that was not explored, and that was the love story between Purushottam and Deepthi. We were either getting information and it would be cut abruptly as they are putting up a front, but I was more eager of what happened with them. Why was their love story not successful? What were the hurdles that they faced? Their scenes and dynamic was something that pulled me in constantly, making me think it was a missed opportunity of not exploring their love story. And from the basic level, bilkul basic, when you get to think of it, Dhruv's character really did not have to do this full charade of pretense family anyway. Actually, when you get to know of Anya's backstory, she would have actually empathized more with him if he had come clean, and honestly this hoo-ha wouldn't be needed. The coincidental love that generates between Dhruv and his acting parents is a great byproduct, but the whole charade is so mind-numbingly stupid, you wonder why he did it in the first place, rather than just saying the truth. शिद्दत में बोला था कि एक और बार वीजा अप्लाई कर देता तो क्या पता मिल जाता. इसमें लगा था कि भाई सच ही बोल देता, सारी टेंशन खत्म हो जाती. Young actors like Raj and Kriti shouldn't get caught up in this mediocre rut, and legends like Ratna Pathak Shah and Paresh Rawal just deserve their own spin-off. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.